Welcome to Profile, the show that shares inspiring stories of ordinary people doing extraordinary things in this world. My name is Robbie, and today I have an amazing guest, a best-selling author. She's a keynote speaker and host of Miss Liz Tea Time. Ladies and gentlemen, I want you to help me welcome Elizabeth Gagnon. Miss Liz, how are you doing today?
I'm well. Thank you for having me here. It's an honor to be here with you, Robbie.
Best-selling author. Tell us about that.
Well, that started back in 2016 when I met Brenda Hammond. She wrote a story called Hear Me. And growing up, I always wanted to be heard. So the rest is history. I've been in book 1, 2, 3, and book 4 is coming out in 2022. And each book I've given a different chapter of my life. So in book 1, it was about child abuse. Book 2 was the loss of my child who passed from stillborn, and the loss of my children, my living children, because of domestic violence. And in book 3 was mental health, and in book 4 is domestic violence. So I've given a chapter of my life in each book.
You have been doing public speaking, motivational speaking, and you have been traveling around sharing your story. Tell us about that. How did that start, and some of the messages you have shared so far?
Well, I really started speaking maybe about 5 years ago, when I started hosting my tea time, and I started Miss Liz's tea time, tea parties, and I had guest speakers, and I just felt that sharing our stories makes a difference, but let's share it in a home style way with tea. And for me, tea has always changed my life, so it's always made a difference. I started speaking publicly in colleges and schools, groups, shelters, about 5 years ago. And I've been speaking everywhere now. And I just finished doing the Sean Fair Leadership Experience Tour in Detroit, Michigan. And that was a different experience altogether. So, and I'm looking at doing more of those types of speaking engagements.
And of course, if you don't mind me talk about the last presentation you did, it's amazing. It's amazing. I saw it. You're great.
So I want to take you back to the age of 4, when I got my first cup of tea from my Oma. And I drank that cup of tea like a little girl enjoyed a cup of tea with her Oma. And I got, no, you're not doing that. And I was like, what did I do? I just drank the tea. She said, we're gonna try this again for the second time. So she served me a second cup of tea. And in that cup of tea, she asked me to sit, reflect, recharge, and release. Well, at 4, I don't understand what these words mean. I'm just a little kid. As I grew up, I understood what my Oma was serving me. She was serving me a tea of life, a tea that I would have to hold on to survive and overcome everything I have today.
Tea time. Tea, I understand it's an acronym, right?
Yes. A lot of people think it's a cup of tea. I do drink tea during tea time, but it isn't about the beverage at all. It's actually about yourself. You, the vessel, are the cup, and what you serve is your tea. So what you give to the public, how you serve yourself, whether you are helping in the community, volunteering, if you are actually creating programs and projects, it's the way you're serving to the public. So your tea is teaching educational awareness. For me, it's bringing the past into the present, into the future. So it's 3 little letters, and it's a simple conversation to have with any age at any time. So a cup of tea is what I do, and I bring it to the table in a different way.
Now, let's talk about you. Now, let's go back to, say, 4 years old. Very young, don't understand much of life yet, but yet still experiencing stuff that you recognize to be wrong, right? Take us back to that age. What was going on in your mind?
Well, like I said, I got my first cup of tea from my Oma. And for those that are watching, Oma means grandma. So she gave me my first cup of tea. But at that age also, I was robbed of my innocence by an uncle. For many years, he sexually molested me, and I became impregnant by him. And I lost a child stillborn. at the age of 14. From there, at 18, I was sold for $2 by my father on my wedding day. And I was told to get married because I was not to have a child out of wedlock, or my child would be taken from me for adoption. And by losing my first child from stillborn, I didn't want to lose the second one, so I got married. I was married for 16 long, hard years. In that marriage, I was beaten over 600 times. I've been shot by my head, so I've lost half of my hearing. So I wear hearing aids today. I've also been poisoned by this man. I've been stabbed, and he tried to take my children from me to try to make society and my family think that I was actually crazy when he was the one who was doing all of this. I also put my kids into care because I actually had a mental breakdown where my body actually shut down and I was paralyzed from the hips down, and I had to learn how to re-walk again. I had reached out to Children's Aid Society for help. I actually picked the homes where my children got to live, and I gave them the option of adoption because I felt that my kids needed that stability in their life as well. And we all talked about it, and they asked if they could stay where they were. So that was another loss, another grief for me. But I knew I had to do what was right for my children and not just for myself.
I'm so sorry to hear all of this that happened in such a young age, as a child, as a teenager. Wow. I'm wondering, at any point, did you have a normal childhood life?
No.
Okay.
Maybe that's why I'm a little goofy and silly at times, because I didn't get to enjoy that childhood. I was always on guard. I was always, be seen but not heard. But I really encourage the little girl in me just to have fun now. It's one of the best days of my life. March 28, 2008 was the day that I got divorced. And it's the day that I started living again.
It was a new chapter for you. But have you ever gone back to either confront your family or to talk about it? Have you ever talked to them about it?
I've actually gone home a few times to talk to my family. My family is very, it's hard to explain how they are. They're just set in their ways, old patterns, old cycles. They don't want change, and that's okay. I do, and they don't, and I've accepted that.
The people around you, your family, you talk about your father, your grandmother, your uncles. Was there any support system you have during those days that you could turn to?
No. A lot of people say, yeah, stranger danger. Me, it was family danger. And it's sad because I love my family and they all think that I don't, but I do. I have their backs. They just don't have mine. For what reasons, I don't know. And that's something that I probably will never know. I will never get the apologies from none of these people because that is who they are. And that is something they have to live with. And I can't own that. I can't own other people's actions or their characters. That's all on them. All I can do is love them from a distance. And that's what I do, is I love everyone from a distance.
Your grandmother left 3 words with you: recharge, release, reflect. Now, have you forgiven your family? Have you moved on from what happened?
I have forgiven my family. If I wouldn't have forgiven my family, I would not be where I am today. Today, I own who I am. I stand on who I am, not in who and what happened to me. There's a big difference. When we stand in our stories, we're actually self-pity. We want no healing. We just want to play the victim, the blame mode. Oh, you did this, you did that. I'm not that person. And I have forgiven them years ago in order for me to stay strong and to be who I am today.
There's a challenge with victims of being heard. Now, there's a thing called double trauma. You have experienced what happened, and also you have been disbelieved, not being supported, not being heard, and that's another trauma in itself. Now, how are victims dealing with that, would you say?
I think that's why a lot of victims don't speak out, because we do get re-traumatized. We get told, "Are you sure? Is that how it happened? Are you sure it's that person? Are you sure it was that time?" How many children are being abused and abandoned, neglected by their parents, by their siblings, by family? We're not putting enough of that out there. We're actually putting more awareness on strangers than we are on the actual predators. Survivors are not speaking because survivors don't feel heard. There's awareness for one day or 1 month or 1 week. And then after that, the rest of the year, there's no awareness. We stop the awareness. And why is that? We're still living with this 365 days a year. So I'm really big on promoting awareness year round, not just one day, 1 week, or 1 month.
What are some of the help support systems that are out there that, in your opinion, that are working for people who need the help?
There are amazing services out there. And that's why I started Miss Liz's Tea Parties, was to give thanks to the services that helped me stay strong. And that was shelters, women's shelters, sexual abuse services, mental health services, CMHA. There was many incredible people who helped me along the way, and I'm forever grateful for them. And we need to look for them. We need to do the research. We need to be the advocate of ourselves, not depend on others and the services to come running to us. If you're feeling like you need help, reach out, because it's out there. Today, I'm an advocate for mental health, for abuse, for grief, and for standing up and being your authentic self. I find that we need to be really true and honest with each and every one of out there, who we really are, and stop wearing the mask that we have to fit into society, into the little box that they try to put us into. We each have our own stories. We each have overcome something, and that's all I do. Is I just serve real transparency. Um, I give an example that it can be done.
You have started your podcast, right? Miss Liz, Tea Time. Tell us what that is and how did you come up with that idea?
Well, actually, I was the Sacred Hearts Leaders for Change, and I was hosting monthly events. And I was thinking to myself, why can't I do this with my own business? And especially with COVID coming at us, I had to pivot my business as well, because my business is with public, and we couldn't have any more public gatherings because of COVID. So I was like, well, why not tea time, virtually, one-on-one? And I really like getting to know a person one-on-one. I've had over 100 tea times in less than 2 years, and it's been internationally, globally. I've had guests from all over, different foundations, organizations, movements, projects, services, authors, you name it, and they've been on tea time. And I really enjoyed the different flavors and blends that come to the table each time. So.
Now, recently you were on Sean Spear's Leadership Experience Tour. How was that for you?
Well, that was a surprise. That was a life-changing movement for me, because I got a message in my inbox on Facebook from Sean Fair. And he said that he was putting this leadership tour together and he would like me to be a speaker. And I was the only person from Canada that spoke at that event.
But I'm standing here, guys. I'm serving tea. Now, I want to get everyone out there who's watching all over the world, because I know you are, and I know you'll watch the replay over and over again of all these incredible people. Now it's time to actually understand why I serve tea. I serve tea to make a difference for everyone else. I want you all to encourage everyone to share, open up your tea stories, the strength, share the weak, share the medium, share the strong. It all matters.
When I got to Detroit, it was an adventure, it was an experience. It was a lot of rehearsals, a lot of connecting with people I had never ever met in my life. It was truly a life experience. It was truly a life moment. It opened me up to believe that I could do it, because I was shaking. I was like a leaf. In my rehearsals, I was like, I don't know why I'm here. Like, why am I the only one here?
Yes.
And I realized that I wasn't the only one there. We were all living our stories and our purposes. And I believe that that's why Sean finds people the way he does. He's an incredible man. I have the greatest respect for that man. That man has made a difference in my life.
You said that people want help to understand who they are, right? You also said that people want to be heard, the things that they already know, right? Tell us about that. What do you mean by that?
Well, what I mean by that is a lot of people need to be told. It's almost like they already know what they are, but they're scared. And when someone else tells them, this is what I see in you, this is what I know you can do, this is what I believe you can do, we're not actually telling people what to do. We're actually giving them that light, giving them that little spark to just continue on, to dig deeper and to become who they are and just see that it's okay to be different. It's okay. I got laughed at a lot by people saying, you're going to change your world with a cup of tea. I am. I've brought people together who would have not ever been connected had it not been for tea time.
What kind of impact do you want to have on people who need help? I know you write books, you do your public speaking, and you have your podcast. But what kind of impact you're hoping to have on people?
I actually want to have tea gardens in all communities worldwide. There's no age limit. And that's what I love about tea is we all can have a cup of tea. You can be 2, you can be 92. You can have a cup of tea and you can talk and you can bring awareness and talk. My biggest thing is I want to also have the Miss Liz, her voice stage. There is Oprah, there's Ellen, there's Barbara Walters, there's many, many incredible people that have been my role models and have shown me that it can be done. They were all told it couldn't be done, and they're the first ones to do it. How about a Miss Liz? That's my goal, is to have a Miss Liz.
Now, I could understand while you were young, a child, a teenager, even into your 20s, you felt trapped, you felt helpless, but eventually you break out of it. You escape, you take yourself away from it. Now, where did that strength come from for you to finally walk away?
Oh, good question. I have to say it would be my inner child. There was always something in me that fought back. It's just something within me that won't give up. I might fall, and I fall a lot, but I always get back up. And when I get back up, it's time to play. It's time to play strong, not weak, not pity, not self-blame. It's just time to say, you know what? I fell down again. I'll get back up again. I honestly believe that we need to do that. We need to speak to our child within us.
Yes.
Because that is complete healing. Until we can talk to our child within us, Robbie, we're not healed.
Yes.
And I'm far from healed. Yeah. I fight every day. But I think that by being transparent to the world, we will make a difference. And that's why I said, what you're doing, Robbie, is continue to do it. Because there's not many people like that out there that are doing what you're doing.
And again, it's all about believing in yourself, believing in the impact that you want to make. It's going to take time, but keep doing it. Keep going. I know during these young years growing up, you never had much control of your life, of situation. But I want to know though, because we want to get to know you a little bit more. If you were to look back at your life, what would you have changed, if anything?
I wouldn't have changed a thing. Would I like to have a happier childhood? Absolutely. But I know that this is who I am and who I'm meant to be. And that's why I overcame everything, because I need to be that voice for a person out there who is struggling, who is giving up hope and saying, you know what, I can't get through this. Yes, you can. You can get through it. You just need to stay and believe in yourself. Don't believe in anyone else. Just believe in you. When you believe in yourself, you overcome everything. Anything is possible.
One more time, I want you to talk to the people who are watching today, victims, people who have heard stories and don't believe. Support systems that are doing it for one day when victims are living it for the entire year. I want you to say one more message to everyone that's listening today. What would that be?
Don't give up. Just don't give up. And keep pushing until someone does hear you. Keep speaking. Your story matters, and it does make a difference. And I'm here for anyone who would like to reach out to and share a cup of tea, whether it's on a virtual podcast or it's just over a phone or a message. I am there 24/7, and I mean that. I am there 24/7. You can ask anyone who has worked with me. If you send me a message at 2 o'clock in the morning and you just need to be heard, I will make the time for you. Because I strongly believe, as a child, the way I grew up, I just wanted someone to hear me. And I have been heard. Now it's your time to be heard. And just keep speaking 365 days. Not one day, not 1 month, not 1 week. 365 days. Your story matters and you matter.
I couldn't say it any better. Thank you. Thank you so much, Ms. Liz. Thank you. And keep doing what you're doing. Keep using your experience as a message, as a tool to help others. Because as you said, the numbers that are out there are so off. The true story is a lot more. And the best person to do this are people who have been through it themselves. So keep doing what you're doing, and we're here to support you. Thank you so much. Thank you. It was amazing. Thanks. We may not choose the life that we are given, but we can choose what we do with it, how we live it, and how we use it as a tool, as a message, to impact others, to change others' lives, and to make a difference in this world. A lot of people truly experience hardship, abuse, hurt, hate from strangers and also from the people you love most. You didn't deserve it. You didn't do anything wrong. It happened. We believe you, and we are here to help you to go through the trauma, the transformation, and for you to enjoy your life. We are providing a lot of resources that are available for you to use. Thank you for watching. You have an amazing day. See you next time. Bye for now.